The cold underground parking lot echoed with tension, the kind that made the air feel heavy. A young woman in a striking red dress pressed her trembling hands against a concrete pillar, her breathing uneven as fear filled her eyes. Across from her stood a calm man in his mid-30s, his posture relaxed, his expression steady despite the danger surrounding them. Behind him, two armed men slowly raised their guns. The woman's voice cracked with urgency as she tried to warn him to stay away, to run before it was too late. Yet the man simply smiled, a calm, quiet smile that carried no fear. And that single smile left her completely stunned. Before we begin this emotional story, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this one. Her name was Sofia Romano, the daughter of the most feared mafia boss in the city. Power, danger, and luxury had surrounded her entire life, yet none of it ever brought her peace. People either feared her or wanted something from her family. Genuine kindness was something she had almost forgotten existed. That night, everything had spiraled out of control. Sofia had discovered a terrifying truth about her father's organization. A deal had gone wrong, and rival gang members had started hunting her, believing she knew information that could destroy them. Desperate and alone, she had fled through the underground parking garage of an abandoned office building, hoping to escape unnoticed. But fate had other plans. Standing there in front of her was Daniel Carter, a single father who had just finished a long night shift working security for the building. Daniel wasn't a man of violence or power. His life revolved around raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, after his wife had passed away years earlier. Daniel's world was simple: wake up early, make breakfast for Lily, take her to school, work long shifts, and return home tired but grateful that he could still give his daughter a decent life. So when Sofia suddenly ran into the garage, terrified and desperate, he knew something was terribly wrong. Her voice trembled as she tried to warn him away, telling him that dangerous men were coming and that anyone near her would get hurt. She expected him to panic, to run like everyone else always did when trouble appeared. Instead, Daniel simply stood there calmly. Not because he was fearless, but because he had spent years facing something much harder than armed criminals: loneliness, responsibility, and the quiet pain of raising a child without the person he loved most. Fear no longer controlled him. Behind him, the armed men approached cautiously, their footsteps echoing through the empty garage. Their eyes were locked on Sofia. Sofia felt her heart drop. She knew exactly who they were. Killers sent to bring her back, or worse. Panic surged through her as she tried to push Daniel away, begging him silently to leave before they hurt him too. But Daniel didn't move. Instead, he stepped slightly forward, placing himself between Sofia and the approaching men. The killers laughed. To them, Daniel looked like nothing more than an ordinary man standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. But Daniel's calm expression never changed. He slowly raised his hands, not in surrender, but in quiet confidence. Years of working night security had taught him something valuable: most dangerous situations could be controlled if you stayed calm when everyone else lost control. The armed men hesitated. There was something unsettling about a man who didn't panic when guns were pointed at him. Daniel spoke slowly, carefully, explaining that the police had already been called for suspicious activity in the area. His voice carried just enough certainty to make the men question whether they had walked into a trap. Seconds passed like hours. Then, one of the men cursed under his breath. Without another word, they turned and quickly disappeared into the darkness, unwilling to risk attracting attention. Sofia stared in disbelief. Her entire body trembled as the danger finally faded. For the first time in her life, someone had protected her without expecting anything in return. Daniel turned back toward her with that same calm smile. Not the smile of a hero. Just the smile of a tired father who had seen enough hardship to understand when someone needed help. Sofia suddenly felt something unfamiliar rising in her chest. Safety. They sat together on a cold concrete step as the reality of what had just happened slowly settled in. Sofia told Daniel pieces of her story, the life she never chose, the fear she had carried for years, and the dangerous world her family had trapped her in. Daniel listened quietly. He didn't judge her. He didn't treat her like a criminal. He simply saw a frightened young woman who had spent her life surrounded by the wrong kind of power. And for the first time, Sofia began to see a different kind of strength in front of her. Daniel had no wealth, no bodyguards, no criminal empire. Yet he had something her father never did. Peace. The next morning, as sunlight slowly crept into the city, Daniel walked Sofia to a nearby cafe where she could safely contact someone she trusted outside the criminal world. Before leaving, she asked him a question that surprised even herself. Why didn't he run? Daniel smiled softly. Because running had never solved anything in his life. Not when his wife got sick. Not when he had to raise Lily alone. And not when someone standing in front of him needed help. Sofia watched him walk away toward the bus stop, where he would begin another ordinary day of work. But something inside her had changed forever. For the first time, she realized that true strength wasn't about power, money, or fear. It was about courage in the quietest moments. If this story is touching your heart so far, take a moment to comment the word kindness below so we know you're watching until the end. Months later, Sofia made a decision that shocked the entire criminal world. She walked away from her father's empire. With the help of authorities and witnesses, she began building a new life far away from violence. But one evening, she visited a small park where Daniel often took Lily after school. Lily laughed happily as she ran across the grass while Daniel watched her with the same calm smile. Sofia realized something powerful in that moment. A man with nothing had changed the direction of her entire life. Not with violence. Not with threats. But with a single calm smile. Before this story ends, if it moved you or reminded you that kindness can appear in the most unexpected places, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more powerful stories. Because sometimes, the quietest heroes change the world the most. Red Heart.